Hi all, Bones here from Oz Bantams again, and I've gone through and I've done the initial cleanup on the engine cases. So as you can still see, there's a bit of grunge that I couldn't get into while the engine was together, and it took a fair bit of scrubbing to get that 50 years of filth off the engine, and I've still got a way to go now, just scrubbing some bits out around in here. First impressions pulling it apart is that this engine is in really good nick. So first thing's this huge carby. It actually weighs a tonne because it's brass. So I'll renew all the fibre washers obviously and pull it all down and give it a good clean and give it a good check through, go through all the galleries and everything like that. It will be interesting to see what main jet size is in there, because I got my suspicions this was run on methanol, this bike. A lot of Bantam centre cases, left-hand centre cases, they break out through here. As you can see, this one's in really good condition. I would say that 3/4 of the engines I rebuild, I have to build this up with a weld, machine it back because it's broken out. Obviously had a bit of a crank seal leak there, but you know, doesn't really matter. As you can see by the black gunge in this, I think this bike was run on a vegetable-based lubricating oil with the fuel, and that's why we've got all this gunge here, but it'll come off. I've got a hot wash bath, and I'll obviously put all these in and give them a really good clean up before I even attempt to reassemble. So they've come up all right. The crank and rod are in really good nick, and I'm pretty happy with that. I haven't taken it out yet. I just thought I'd leave it in there just for the purpose of showing you. As you can see, crankshaft distance piece there, and a couple little shims behind it. So there's a bit of grime in the bottom of the gearbox, but everything's it really is in really good condition. Main shaft and the rest of the gear surfaces look in really good condition. Interestingly enough, it's got a standard ratio gearbox in it, and I would have thought it might have had either a wide ratio or a close ratio gearbox in it. Yeah, that's got a bit of wear in it. So the bushes that are in your output gear will have to be renewed in there. But that's alright, we'll get onto that. Okay, moving further along, the head. The head's obviously a centerfire head, and it has this brand, Highcom, cast into the head. Really nice job. Tiny bit of porosity in that casting, but there was that many people casting their own heads back in the day. You know, I've got a whole collection of different racing heads, all weird and wonderful shapes, but this one's really nice. This is a pretty high compression engine, looking at the volume of the head, but that's pretty good. Now the interesting thing, this piston has a chevron embossed into the top of it. I've never seen anything like it before. My suspicions are it's in theory to aid the transfer, so help segregate your incoming charge of air and fuel and try and segregate your exhaust. And so the theory in this is to help it scavenge and actually displace all your exhaust gases out through the exhaust port. It's the only thing I can think of, but it's actually a pretty good fit. So I think I'll just renew I tried a ring in there, and there's a fair ring gap, and the rings actually do look a bit warm, but I think I'll be putting this piston back in. Being a race engine, you want slightly bigger clearance in it anyway, so I think that'll be all right. Clutch covers not broken out in there. You can still see all the grunge in there that I couldn't get into while the engine was assembled, and I'll have to go back and scrub all that out. But generally that's in really good nick too. These tabs a lot of times are broken, and also where they throw the chain they break out this piece just here. Clutch, still got the original cork clutches, and there is not much left in them, I can tell you. A couple of them have still got the segments just dropped out of them, so we'll renew those with modern Surflex clutches. I'll give that a machine up and just clean that up. That's where your clutch push rod actuates against, but all your metal plates and everything are in really good nick. Clutch basket, you generally get wear on these surfaces here from the clutch basket actuating on it. It's got a tiny bit, but I've seen them a lot more horrendous. I think what I'll probably end up doing is set these up in the milling machine and just give them a clean. I can index it so it's perfect spacings and everything like that, so I'll end up doing that. Gearbox components, they all look alright. This was the stator plate. I mean, the thing looks nearly brand new. It's in that good a condition. So I'll be actually changing this out for electronic ignition, just for reliability. All the rest of the bits I've sort of just thrown together, and everything looks in really good condition. It really does. I had the original screws in it, and all of those came out except one, which I had to use the impact driver on. Just give it a tap, just crack it, and it was fine. So the whole lot's come apart really, really well. So from here, it will be like final disassembly, like knock the bearings out of the cases and everything, and get everything into the hot wash bath and give it a really, really good clean. Obviously, it's got to be immaculate before I do a reassembly on it. So hot wash bath, clean it, go back, gauge and check and measure everything, and then start logging down where my faults are so I can replace components and excuse me, be able to do the rebuild from there. So it's progressing really well. Unfortunately, I can't get tyres at the moment because we're in COVID lockdown. So I was going to put the rolling chassis back together, but I won't. I can't do that until I've got tyres on the wheels. So I've gone on to, I'll get the engine all done while I'm waiting for tyres to turn up. So all in all, still progressing really well. Great bike to work on. On the back of the barrel, you can see where they've cut off the old stub and bronze welded a different inlet port. Really nice job. It really is, and the porting on this is really nice too. He's done a really nice job. So yeah, we'll just keep progressing along and see how we go.